Alright, so we'll get started, we'll bring it in. So we're going to work on some back attacks and our Stefan. We're going to start from turtle position. So I'm going to spin your arm this way here. So my partner is playing just like a regular turtle, maybe his elbows are inside. I'm going to take a tight waist grip. I'm on my left knee, posted on my right leg. I'm going to use my right hand as a post. My left knee is behind Stefan's right knee. And I kind of use my body as well as my arm to break him down to his hip and his forearm. Alright, so if you did Stefan's seminar the other day, he was working on the claw. So what we're going to do is, if we can get the claw, that's great, we can get great control from here. But let's say we feel that we have like a really explosive opponent and he tries to turn back to his knees. Alright, and he's just going to like say hide his elbows and everything else. We keep the tight waist, so if we go back down to the floor, we keep the tight waist, my knee goes onto his hip. Once he starts to come up, there's always going to be a little bit of space on the near side for you to slot this hook in. Alright, so that's going to be our first drill. To finish off the drill, Stefan is going to just like tuck his elbow in between his knee here and then stop me from getting the second hook. So we're going to do 3 ways of dealing with the second hook as well. Alright, so we'll use this as a little warm up. So partner's in turtle position. I might spin you around this way here. Knee goes behind my partner's knee. Take a good tight waist grip. Right foot is on the floor, left knee is on the floor, right hand is acting as a post. So I'm using my body weight to break him down to the mat. Here, my knee goes onto his hip. When he comes up, I slot the near hook in, I get my head behind Stefan's head, and my belt line in line with his belt line. If I start to go here, it's very easy for him to kind of like knock me off and raise his hips and everything else. So one more time. We break him down to the mat. Here, hand is on the floor, knee is on the hip, he comes up. Hook goes in, head behind his head, belt line in line with his belt line, and we stop the drill here. Alright? 3, 2, 1. Sorry. And then, so I've already spent again, just a couple of details on that. I'll spin you around this way. So, good tight waist grip, right foot is on the floor, left knee is on the floor, use your hand as a post, break him down to his hip and his shoulder. My left knee goes onto my opponent's hip. When he goes up, try slot your hook in like at the side, because if I go down I'm going to need more space. So on the way up, I go in like at a little angle. So I'm going in like sideways rather than going right down. So my opponent blocks here. The first thing that we're going to do is I try to get my hand on the inside for an underhook. I bring all the weight forward, so I take the weight off of his heel, and then I go laces to laces with my left leg. Alright? I grip Sven's forearm, I drop my head just above, like say, shoulder line, and we do a full roll to take the back, and then we get our second hook in. So we go from this side here. So we break him down to the mat. Here, knee goes on his hip, he comes up, foot goes in an angle, belt line behind his belt line. Like a common kind of like a response you're going to get from here is like you'll find it hard to get your laces on your opponent's laces. So get your underhook, bring the weight forward. Now I've took the weight off the feet, laces to laces, bring his forearm and his elbow in towards his belly button, and I drop my shoulder into this empty space and I do a full roll. If he tries to turn back this way, I have good control, then we can get the second hook in. You want to see it again? Or? Yeah, one more time. So you might change the angle maybe here. So break him down, he comes up, here, weight forward, I have the underhook, laces to laces, forearm, tuck his elbow in towards his stomach, and then I roll. We land with the hook on the outside, hook on the inside, and then we get our 2 hooks in. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so we'll bring it in. So we'll do the exact same setup, just to give you a little tip on it. Tight waist grip, knee behind our opponent's knee, using our right foot as a post, right hand as a post, we break it down to a hip and a shoulder. I'm going to look to like turn my knee and chin into his hip pocket. Alright, so you can like use the claw grip, you can go tight waist or like a shallow tight waist grip. When my opponent comes up, see the way he brings me up, and then I put that hook in. Once I bring the weight forward and I go laces to laces, I can also do like a half roll, so I can roll to the side of the hook. So if you're wondering why I did a full roll, it's because there's a camera on it and it looks better. Alright? No, I'm only joking. I find that if I do a full roll, I can get square on the back and I can start attacking straight away. So you can also do like a half roll to the same side as the hook here, or if you want to look good on Instagram, full roll. Alright? But sometimes when you're in like these types of positions, if you have someone that has like really good mobility in their hips, I'll just turn it this way here, I break him down to the mat, he goes to his knees, and I just find that I'm not able to get my laces to my opponent's laces. Bring the weight forward, hook it in, we'll hook the outside, and then we'll do the exact same roll to get the second hook in. So again, we're here, maybe I'm finding it hard to catch his feet. Bring the weight forward, laces to laces. See the way I bring his foot inside his knee line, his elbow goes in towards his belly, and I do the exact same roll. Here, landing on the side of the hook, we get our second hook in, we're ready to start attacking. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Chest to his back, head to head, cross your feet. I'm going to extend my legs, and then I'm going to extend my upper body to make space. Now I can put my second hook in, and we can start attacking. And maybe this way here. So with the underhook, we can't bring the weight forward. Palm facing down, S-grip, elbow goes over the imaginary ear line. In the direction your right elbow is pointing, your shoulder will follow that, and then your hip will follow that. We grip the shoulder and stay attached. I start to lock up my seatbelt, chest to back, keep your head nice and tight, cross our feet, extend your legs, and extend your upper body. So see the way I'm kind of pulling with my seatbelt. Then I put my second hook in. Alright, so I might turn you around this way here. So, one more time. Maybe this way is probably the best. So hook in, underhook, palm facing down, S-grip, elbow over the imaginary ear line. In the direction your right elbow is pointing, your shoulder and hip follow that. Take a seat belt, cross your feet, extend your legs, and pull, like say with your, I spin you around here. It's not just a regular seat belt, it's kind of like a seat belt kind of kimura. So I cross my feet and extend. Then we get our second hook in. All right, 3, 2, 1. Alright lads, we'll bring it in. So, now that we're on our opponent's backs, the side that I prefer to play is underhook on bottom. I just find that I have way more control. If I was doing like maybe an EBI type of situation where, you know, EBI overtime, I'd always get ready to pull to the side of the underhook because I know it's going to be harder for him to escape. Alright, but there's definitely good attacks on underhook on top side. A big detail and a lesson I've learned early on in competition is when I get into this position, the first thing I do is I put my right foot onto my opponent's hip. You're going to feel like on the bottom hook, you're going to feel there's a little bit of weight on the inside of your thigh. Alright, and a common thing that you hear people say when they're trying to do the arm trap is, I'm not that flexible, or I can't reach my leg over. So we're going to make it flexible. So I put my right foot onto the hip and I push down, and now I've just become flexible. Alright, so you can see the way I've just become flexible in a couple of seconds. So it's a big detail. So underhook on bottom, fall to my left side, you'll feel the weight on your thigh. Right, so we're not going to do any more for a minute or two. I want you to feel this, and then we'll go into details on setting up the arm trap. Right foot goes onto the hip. I'm going to hip escape either away from Sven, or I'm going to push him down, one or the other. Now the weight is off my thigh and I've just become more flexible. If he goes down really far, we can obviously go straight into back triangles and that type of stuff. So we'll do that one more time. So underhook on bottom, right foot goes to the right hip. I either move my hips away or I push my opponent down. You'll feel the weight come off your leg straight away, and then we can go into arm trap stuff. So we'll just do like maybe a minute each, and we'll bring it back in. So 3, 2, 1. With the hip escape, you can hip escape off your opponent's hip, or maybe if you're starting out in this kind of field, doesn't feel that comfortable. So like if I feel like awkward here, just kind of hip escape off the floor. So the way now this leg's a lot freer to do whatever I want. If Sven goes down, like if his head goes below the line of my shoulder, well now we're going into triangles, arm bars, and that type of stuff, right? So I hip escape. Common thing that you'll see in this position is he'll take 2-on-1 on my top arm. All right, so if he's holding on to my right arm, you'll see a lot of people where they try like pull their arm away. Don't. This left hand is free, so let's use the left hand to help out the right hand here. And if he holds on really tight onto my right hand, I can always use my right foot now to kick. All right, I can either go straight into the arm trap or I can go back to 2-on-1. All right, so I'll do that again. So he takes 2-on-1 grip. Your left hand comes on the inside, strip the grip. See the way I'm like adjusting if I need to, so if I can't reach it, I kind of push him down, and then I can clear it from here, straight into the arm trap, 2-on-1. Or, let's do that one more time, so 2-on-1, strip the grip, heel goes here, 2-on-1 on this side, all right? So now that we have 2-on-1 on the top arm, a really nice detail, I put the foot onto the hip, and I get the inside of my knee to the outside of my opponent's elbow and tricep, and I push inwards. All right, so now I'm going to funnel his arm down. If he tries to pull his arm up towards his head, it should be very hard. The only way that feels natural to him is to push down. If he pushes down, now we get the arm trap and we take 2-on-1 on the opposite side. So this is the pressure you want to get. So this is a big detail. So I'm like pushing inwards here towards the center. So if he tries to move, it should be very hard. So if he pushes down, we trap the arm, toes go above his belt line, and we take a 2-on-1 grip on the far side, staying connected with our cheek to our opponent's cheek. Do you want to see it again? One more time. So we can either, if our opponent takes 2-on-1, left hand will come in to help out its big brother. Here, hip escape if we need to. Now we're using in the bigger brother here, all right? 2-on-1 attack, or what we can do is go to 2-on-1 here, pinch inwards. If he pushes down, trap the arm and take 2-on-1 on the far side. So we'll have a few goes and we'll bring it back in. 3, 2, 1. Run through that one more time. Any questions? I'll try answer them. So again, let's just go from here. So we get the 2-on-1 on the top arm. Right foot goes on the top hip. I hip escape. The inside of my knee goes to the outside of my opponent's elbow and tricep. I push inwards towards the center. When he pushes down, or even if I extend down, I bring the heel on the inside and I bring the laces of my foot above his belt line. So the way this looks is, see here, nearly like you're doing like a triangle that's not locked up. So it kind of looks like this. So one more time. So again, we got top hand position, 2-on-1 on the top hand, foot on the hip, pinch inwards. I can either push down with my own arms, I can only go as far as they can go. All right, so there's no point trying to force it, so just lock out your arms. Once his wrist goes underneath like the line of his chest, then you're good to start attacking, all right? Or if he brings it down himself, we bring the heel in, laces above the belt line, and then we take a 2-on-1. So we'll spend another 2 or 3 minutes and then we'll do the finish. 3, 2, 1. Just under 15 minutes left. I'm going to try to squeeze in 3 more techniques. We'll do the finish on the rear naked choke. So we get 2-on-1 on the top arm, hip escape, pinch the knee inwards. Second option here is I can always, if this hand is giving me problems, we can go into the straight jacket. Little tip on the straight jacket, instead of just pulling across the shoulder, bring the bicep across the head so you can control the posture here. And then I can bring my leg in and take 2-on-1. So we'll do that one more time. Exact same setup. So we're here, maybe his hand is coming in, it's giving me problems. Get top hand position, so you can see my left and right hand is on top. I'm still pinching inwards. The only difference now is the bicep goes across the face, the hand goes down low. See the way I'm kind of gripping on the wrist and the hand. Heel goes in, and then back to 2-on-1, all right? you want to have a few goes at that maybe first, and then we'll do the rear naked choke in a minute or two. So we'll do maybe 3 minutes on that, and then we'll do the rear naked choke. So 3, 2, 1. All right, lads, bring it in. We'll do the finish on the rear naked choke. So we managed to trap the arm. We've 2 on 1. A lot of people kind of find it hard to finish the rear naked choke. So what we want to do is we want to think about connection. So I want the shoulder to the back of my opponent's head. I want to connect my cheek to my opponent's cheek. You can see I'm gripping like his hand and his wrist. I'm trying to bring his hand down nice and low. So I don't want Sven to cause any problems with this hand gripping and everything else. We want to get the hand away, all right? A really nice detail as well, if you find that your opponent's very good at stripping like the bottom hook, you can kind of bring it across at an angle. So see how I'm kind of on his hip here. So shoulder pressure forward, in with the cheek. The knuckle of my thumb goes behind my opponent's ear, but I'm always keeping this pressure, like nearly kind of bringing his chin to his chest. What we do is we start to slide, and then I lift my elbow and my hand, all right? My goal is to try to get my elbow in line with his chin as much as possible, all right? Sometimes it can be hard, especially if you don't have much space. The grip that we're going to take is, we're going to kind of take like a false grip around the neck here. So we don't want to cup the shoulder, because we cup the shoulder, when we let go of the hand, our opponent's going to come up, strip the hand, and then we have to start all over again. So once we get the kind of false grip on the neck, I grab my knuckles and I drop my elbow in front of his shoulder here. So now if he tries to come up and hand fight with the left hand, it's a lot harder. We open up our fingers, all right, a really nice tip. You can see my elbow isn't in line with his chin yet, so I'm going to loosen my grip a small bit so I can rotate. See where my elbow is in line with his chin? I start to tighten, drop my elbow down to his chest, and then the finish is going to be a squeeze and rotate your right shoulder or your right elbow back to your right shoulder to get the tap. Sorry. I had to send it to them or they wouldn't believe it. It's all good. So we do it from here, and then I do it from the actual position, right? So we have this arm's trapped, it's gone. We have the grip here, shoulder behind the head, cheek is inwards. I lead with my knuckle of my thumb behind his ear. Here, we start to drive. We go as far as we can, trying to get, see when I'm walking and lifting my elbow here. I take a false grip. So my elbow isn't in line with his chin yet. I'm gonna adjust that in a couple of seconds. So we free the arm, and we grab our thumb knuckle. Big detail to stop him from hand fighting. Drop your elbow in front of his shoulder. If he tries to bring his hand up, it's a lot harder. I open up my fingers. I loosen my grip a small bit, and watch the way I rotate to try and get my elbow in line with his chin. I start to squeeze, drop the elbow down to the chest, and then the finish is right elbow back to the right shoulder to get the tap. All right, so we'll do it from the back position. So we're here, arm trapped, bringing the foot across the hip, shoulder to the back of the head, cheek is connected to my opponent's cheek, knuckle goes behind his ear, and we start to drive through here, all right? If we find we can't go anymore, we start to lift the wrist and the elbow until we get our false grip. Big detail here, if you want to free this hand, move over to your right to take the weight off. See what I did there? So again, it could be hard to do this, so move to one side, grab your knuckle on your thumb, elbow goes in front. Open up your fingers, loosen up your grip, elbow down to the chest, and then we squeeze and bring our right elbow back to our right shoulder to get the finish. All right, 3, 2, 1. Left before Sven's class starts in the main room. I know we've done a lot. I'm trying to cram as much as I can into an hour so you can obviously like improve your back game the best you can. That's exactly what I use in competition. That's what I use in the gym. It works really well for me. The reason why I do what I do is because I made mistakes through, you know, blue belt, purple belt, and brown belt. I still make mistakes today, but if someone kind of keeps defending something or giving me a problem, I try to go back on the mats and try to fix it. So that's what works for me. Has anyone any questions with anything we've done? I'll be around anyway for the open mat session if you do have questions and that, so I'll try to help you out. So thanks a million, I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for coming.